sensation, gliding through actions and soft syncopation. Oh, yeah, yeah, it's direct elimination. World-class minds, engage in razor-edge conversation, locked in on the path of pure determination.
1, 2, 3. Oh, that was buttery. What a great way to start.
That's fun. I like that.
So let's cut right to the chase.
Right to it.
Colin Campbell, welcome to Direct Elimination.
Thank you for having me. Very excited to be here.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, Colin Campbell is a former fencer in the weapon of saber. He attended the University of Notre Dame with Stephen and I, was on the team for 4 years and participated in 2 national championship victories, or let me rephrase that. Was a member of the team for 2 NCAA championship victories for Notre Dame, as well as at least 1 ACC victory.
Well, I think sophomore and junior year.
Oh yeah, two ACC victories, and then
it
It was an ACC sandwich. Yeah.
What happened on senior year? Did we
no
not have
COVID.
ACC?
We didn't have one.
Didn't
That's
Carolina
right. We
win our
didn't
senior
go.
year?
We didn't go because Josh Zhang had COVID. Or no, Josh Zhang was a
bunch
contact
of people,
trace.
A bunch of people had COVID.
No, everyone got contact traced. No one
Yeah.
actually had COVID for ACCs.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but recently,
I remember that day.
yeah, me too. I was kind of bummed out.
I was pretty
I
bummed
wanted
out
to
too.
go. Since college, Colin has been very heavily pursuing the arts. And we want to talk to him for a variety of reasons. And he's very closely tied to Direct Elimination. Some of you who listen
The more astute of you will recognize Colin's name already
yeah.
from the illustrious Direct Elimination theme song. And I guess you want to just talk about that for a minute? That was Colin.
Yeah. Let's start there. Colin Campbell's actually been a part of every Direct Elimination episode for the last, I believe, 6 or 5 episodes, and for the foreseeable future. In every description, you will see theme song written and performed by Colin Campbell, also produced, et cetera, et cetera. You know, there's a word limit. So, but all the above, Colin has contributed to this project and to our lives, and is continuing to support the sport of fencing via multiple avenues that are non-standard for fencers or former fencers. And we just wanted to highlight that and his passion for the sport, as well as just being a good friend of ours. So let's talk about that first. How did you do it? How did you create such a banger?
Well, I have sticky notes in my office, and they're not the full-size ones. They're like the little tiny
ones.
thumbnail type
Yeah,
little ones
yeah,
that you
yeah.
can maybe write like a social security number on, right? And
Do you write your social security number on it?
No.
If you were to write your social security number on it, what were the last 4 digits?
It's in very unrecognizable cursive.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what numbers are in unrecognizable
They
cursive?
were. I remember they were blue, and I have a little makeshift office in my construction team's kind of stage setup, and I bring my guitar. I've also stolen your keyboard that was once mine that I gave to you temporarily and then took back.
I don't know if you stole it. I think it was fully consensual passing back and forth of a keyboard that I probably wasn't using enough, and it was better off in your hands. Colin is a fantastic piano player. Fantastic.
Well, it's where I started with music.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've been a rhythmically, kind of influenced guy from the moment that I was small, right? I was banging on the desk in class, and melody was always a strong suit of mine. And I remember making up a song in like kindergarten, and I did like a little like parlor trick where I would take my left hand and I'd go above my right hand, and I called it Waterfall, right? And I would just kind of like just impress the teachers, right? And piano is something that I love doing, but like any other young kid, discipline is tricky when you have a lot of different activities and hobbies to choose for the rest of your life. So I was not good at practicing, and being that, I don't know, I think it was around 2020, I found that in college I was missing out on my missed joy of music, which I had stopped in high school to pursue fencing at Notre Dame. And I would go into the chapel in my dorm at Notre Dame. Every dorm had a chapel, right? And there was a grand piano. And because I was such a night owl, I would practice at like 2 or 3 a.m. And sometimes I would, find other remote little practice locations on campus. But for the most part, it was when I should have been studying for an exam or writing a last minute paper. And I was trying to regain my familiarity with the piano. And in the last several years, I think it was my senior year, and this is when we started jamming out, Ari. Ari is also a pretty fantastic musician, and we would get together at one's apartment and just make a bunch of debatable, upbeat things.
Yeah, it was fun. And let me clarify, I'm not a fantastic musician. Colin's being very kind, probably because we're having him on the podcast. I'm a very mediocre musician. I love to play music. I love making music. I'm not a good musician.
One way or the other, let's put it this way, it's all in the groove.
It's all in the groove. I have the groove and I love to create.
You're a groovy dude.
But I just want to be really clear. You are actually a fantastic pianist.
Thanks.
Excuse me. But we did describe this exact word with M. Byhold.
Yeah.
It should be pianist. So we're actually going to reclaim pianist. Pianist is for something else.
Well, one way or the other.
He's a great pianist.
I did not play piano on this theme song. It was the guitar that I wrote the theme song on. And I don't know. I love a lot of different forms of jazz. I played a lot of jazz. We played in groups. So there are different musicians, drummers, upright bassists, singers, saxophonists. And we get together once a month with my jazz teacher, who would scold me for never practicing, but I'd still get together and want to jam with everybody. And we, rotated instruments. And that's kind of how, I don't know, I just became obsessed with different kinds of sounds. And I liked the whole ensemble of everything put together. So in college, I, saw my roommate had a Gretsch electric guitar. And I kind of indirectly decided that I wanted to become really good at the guitar and learn how to make that instrument like my own. Because as an athlete, I love to move around, and I kind of like to let the groove take over and dance a little bit. And it's kind of hard to do that at a piano that's 1,000 pounds.
There's some logistical issues with that, for sure.
But I don't know. Music moves me, and I wanted to have a bit more of a portable instrument. So that was a big reason why I picked it up. And right after college, I kind of just fell into practicing a lot. And as a rhythm kind of guy, I picked my styles and wanted to use my fingers more so than a pick. But I love funk. I'm a soul and R&B guy. My family they're super into the arts. So my sisters are dancers, so a lot of classical music around. And this particular tune is kind of in a bossa nova style. And I mean, I think really recently, I really love the Gypsy Kings. I'm sure I'm not alone in that. There's a lot of really amazing songs that they came out with.
They're awesome, dude.
And
Bamboleo.
Yeah. But this is it's a very simple chord progression of just 2 songs and like a little pull off for the chorus, right? And I wrote these lyrics down because I wanted to implement fencing, and I knew that I could do that because I know the sport. Starting it when I started when I was 10. In Washington, D.C., I went to the summer camps at DCFC.
I feel like that's a common fencing age.
Yeah.
10's a good one. 10's a good one to start at. Yeah, like you've had time to do some other stuff, but you haven't like fully developed, so you can really develop as a fencer.
I know what I'm doing for my kids, man.
Yeah, starting them at 10.
God willing. No, I'm not. They start in gymnastics, then wrestling, right?
Then badminton, then fencing.
No. Gymnastics, then wrestling or ballet.
Yeah.
They can choose.
Yeah.
and then fencing.
Okay, but what age fencing?
What age fencing? Once they've had at least...
Just whenever they get back from Dagestan?
Whenever they get back from Dagestan.
Okay, sounds good.
Whenever they become proficient at the other two.
Okay, got it.
Well, I wanted to start earlier, but I was actually told by, I think, Janusz Sluminski, that I had to start when I was 10 for saber. I don't know why.
Because 10's the right age. No, because 10's the right age.
The psychopaths start at 6. You know, it's the coach, the dad coaches, right?
Dad coaches.
But I knew how to implement fencing into the tune, and I mean, you guys came up with the title. All I had to do was sing it. So it's
true.
The fact of the matter is, I came up with. I was like, you know, two guys are talking, and they're bringing this sport, which I think it's really accurate to call it a physical chess, and having momentary, judgments of having an attack plan or, setting things up so that you can deceive your opponent, right? As such an individual sport, it's two people on the strip. And I love the psychology of it. And it was just kind of a story that fell out of me. And it's a part of the tournament, Direct Elimination. It's to eliminate going to 15, going to 45 team. I love the team format. I got to do it a couple times, and not as much as you guys have gotten to enjoy it. But
I mean, we just fenced longer than you. That's the only reason why.
Yeah, true. But yeah, it kind of just it came together pretty fast, and I wrote the bass part, and then I came up with the drums and the tempo of it, and then I brought the guitar part that I used at the office, and I just laid some higher stacking harmonies over it so that it could really just levitate the whole idea of this like funky bossa nova and what it could be. And I don't know, it's not necessarily comparable to a lot of funk songs. I think it's just, it's 2 minutes. It could be strung out a little bit more, but it's a theme, right?
Yeah.
So I think that it's nice and concise, and I worked to make my voice fit it, because it's I have a baritone voice, and the high notes they're a little tricky to hit sometimes. That's why, I mean, right now, as the arts are my main focus, I enjoy going to practice piano, practice guitar, and practice singing over at Juilliard at night. And the evening time is, when the adult classes happen, and people from all over the world of different ages. I've taken acting classes there as well. And it's been a really great resource to me to be able to play the grand piano and just get feedback on how I'm performing, because I do, as a side gig, play the guitar, play the piano, sing, even the ukulele for a couple things. But it's a lot of fun to choose how I write the tunes with whatever instrument I have in front of me, or if it's just a little thing in my head. This one was particularly fun. I really liked the song. So I'm glad you guys like it too.
I loved it. I'll give my little experience with the song, right? Because I think there was a group chat with us, and you texted the lyrics, and I was like doing something, like I was doing laundry or something, and I saw the lyrics, and I forget which line it was, with just no context, and I was like,
I think it was a syncopation.
Syncopation. Yeah, I was like, all right, I don't know where the hell this guy's going with this, and great, thank you, Colin, for like making this theme song. Let's see what happens, right? And then I played it for the first time, and I was like, goosebumps. The goosebumps you get when you listen to a song. And immediately I was like, whoa, like, holy crap, Colin made a really sick song. And then like the lyrics came in, and I was like, I was following along every line, and I was like, syncopation was a great word. That was a perfect choice. I loved every line. I loved the whole song. And even still listening to it, right? When we listen to the episodes back, check for edits and stuff, like I love the song, man. And I can't thank you enough for creating this thing out of thin air. Like it was
It's stuck in my head
It's-
right now. I
yeah.
want to sing it.
The
You guys
first
just join in. I'm gonna play it.
Direct elimination.
the first couple days after we heard it for the first time, before it was like the final cut, before we could even put it in the
I
thing.
played it at a party.
You played it at a party. It was
played
in
it-
my head for like a week.
That's where you played it at your spot.
I think I played it at either Dasha's birthday
You did.
or my
That was what it
engagement
was.
party.
I don't remember.
One or the
Was it
other.
your birthday party?
I don't know, but I played it at a party. It was really funny.
It might have been your birthday party.
Doesn't really
It was
matter.
the birthday party because I don't think it was at night, right? And the engagement party was during the day.
Wait, it couldn't have been Dasha's birthday party
'Cause
because we
that's-
didn't have
we
a
didn't
Dasha's
do a
birthday
Dasha's-
party. That was last year.
That was last year.
And Dasha's
Then
birthday. Yeah,
maybe
but
we
anyway, so
Direct
yeah,
elimination wasn't a thing.
yeah,
back
direct
then.
elimination didn't exist. Anyways, it's still
Wait.
stuck in my head. It's so touching to think that this song came about because of this show, and it's this weird self that I didn't anticipate to enjoy so much. But I don't even think about us or this experience
It's
when
the-
I hear it.
it's
I
the
just think of it as a standalone song
Yeah.
that I like.
Right.
And we just happen to get to share it every single time without any type of copyright infringement, which is awesome.
Well, I'll tell you what.
We have a
is-
contract with Colin, for the record. There is a signed legally binding document that allows us to use this song. So I want that to be clear, YouTube.
Yeah, they're going about it all in the right way. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm a student of music production right now, and I mixed everything. I did all of the stuff, right? So
Yeah.
I played all the parts, sang it, and there's a lot that is great about that. But when it comes to engineering and having each part sit in the mix correctly, and there's still moments that I'm not necessarily, your own worst critic. And I know you guys dig the tune, but I know that there's things that can make it a little bit more alive, just as a song, right? And as a vessel of trying to make the music come alive as it should. So
Sure.
I'm going to give you an even more you're going to be, pinging off the floor with the updates that I've got for this.
I can't
That's
wait. And for our audiophile listeners, I hope you guys can appreciate and enjoy the difference and notice the difference.
Yeah. With this episode,
With
there
this
will already be
episode.
a better one. Go back to the original few episodes where we aired this song versus the Colin Campbell episode that you're going to hear it. And for the record, we're going to play this song in full at the end of this episode.
Yeah.
Just because we love it. And it's
Well,
Colin's
It
episode.
was my
so we
pleasure to
have
make it. I remember you guys starting this podcast, and I thought that there was, moments of, camaraderie between you guys that it was like, wow, there's so much more media you can put in and boost the, the vibe of, because you guys are comics and you're funny, and I knew that it wasn't going to be a vibe of a song that was poppy. It had to have a little funky, odd edge
almost
to
like
it.
grit, but not in like a grungy sense, but just you
Yeah.
know, like
No, I know what you're saying.
you come in, you got a good bass line, but it isn't poppy. It's
Ooh,
catchy
no,
though.
I have a natural rasp.
Yeah,
to my
that's what it
voice.
is. That's the grit from the song.
No, I
It's
knew
your
that I
voice.
needed to have it in there because that was the
Some
way that
soul.
made me feel. Right?
So how does this relate to fencing?
Well, hang on. I got this.
All right,
I got
Steven,
this.
reel us in.
So Colin,
Mm.
you've going through your story a bit about both, you touched on the fencing, speaking about your relationship with the arts, right? You spoke a bit about how, when you were a kid, you enjoyed the rhythm of all of it all and you enjoyed the performance of it all, but you didn't enjoy practice, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, when you're in college and you're rediscovering this like love for music and pursuing art, and you said you started to practice on your own volition. Like you went out and you sought practice at hours where like should have been doing footwork. But like people,
Right.
people, this is like the stuff in like the Rocky movies, right? You're out there at 3 a.m. practicing. So when did that shift occur, right? What was your all-in moment on music or on art?
Well, I changed my major sophomore year. I went into Notre Dame thinking that I would be in the Mendoza College of Business.
Shout out Mendoza
And-
College of Business.
Yeah, shout out Mendoza. And
Business.
I enjoyed
I went to
my
business
time.
school.
I took a lot of the classes, and it was really kind of a realization that my creative capacity was not really being itched as much, and that has no fault of building the knowledge to be an entrepreneur and create business, because there's so many creative things that you can do in business. But I just knew that my ideas were really focused in on language, movies, photography, and music, kind of almost as a necessity. When I was making little shorts in film, I chose film as my major and philosophy as a minor, and I just kind of reinserted myself into the Arts and Letters College. And I got involved with other students and made little short projects, and one of them was during COVID. And a lot of times,
Was that the Pancake Thief?
Pancake Thief, yeah. I made a short
I don't remember.
with teammates.
It sounds so familiar.
It was
They were
funny.
foilists, and we
You
had a great
used them
time.
in your most recent short as well. Same
One-
cast
one-
members. Or
one of them, yeah.
Which
I
one?
guess Matt was in the.
Matt was in the Pancake Thief,
Okay.
yeah.
Wait,
But
I remember
fencing,
the apartment.
fencing made its way into my early attempts at film, and I think I grew up loving old pirate movies. Like, I'm not talking Pirates of the Caribbean when we were little. I'm talking Errol Flynn and Captain Blood and the Mark of Zorro with Tyrone Power and Basil Rathbone. I don't know if you've heard these names before.
Colin, you're 85.
I may be. They
Yeah.
called me Old Man Campbell back in college.
That's true. We did call you that. And the only other person to consistently bring up Errol Flynn when it comes to fencing is my late grandmother.
Yeah.
I don't think she ever watched a fencing bout of mine. Maybe she did.
She was just swooning
on a
over Errol
video,
Flynn.
but she and her sister would say, just funny. She's like, you fence like Errol Flynn. And I was like, I'm 12. I don't know who that is. It's 2009. And then
It's a way of motivating you to.
I've
hey,
watched Errol
looks like
Flynn
it's
since
stuck.
then. Yeah.
Well,
I'm really trying to remember the plot of the Pancake Thief.
Don't
man.
worry about it. This is a future problem, Stephen. Wait, do you still have access to that file?
I do. I think it's deep in a Facebook group chat.
All right, Stephen.
And
If you're really motivated,
I'm
bug
really
him about it.
motivated. I will.
It was ball to make. It was about early training, like going to lift, right?
Yeah.
We had to wake up at the crack of dawn as a team to go to conditioning, and as roommates who were teammates, some of the wake up times were a little altered, and I think I had Matt
Shout out
Make-
Matt Tahasic.
make the pancakes, Thomas made the pancakes.
Shout out
and then
Thomas Murray.
Yeah, Thomas Murray. And then he was going to shower, and then Matt stole the pancakes that were made on the kitchen counter and ran to lift while Thomas was in the shower. And that made Thomas very angry. So he sees Matt over at our training center eating the pancakes, and Matt smiles and he's like, "Yeah, I stole your pancakes." And they duel it out, and I don't know. It was just a kind of a chaotic idea, and it's very me. Like, I eat a shit ton of pancakes, and
You may or
and
may
I'm-
not have stolen some pancakes in the past.
No, you know what? I make my own.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll-
stolen other foods.
I'm really good at making pancakes.
the record
You definitely.
I've spent my 10,000 hours on pancakes.
I believe that, but you've definitely foraged for food before.
Oh, sure, yeah. Whether on
Who
the
has it?
I mean, I have.
Oh, yeah.
Without a doubt. I'm like a bear. I'll go through anyone's cabinet and pantry.
So they'd be at campsites. They'd be hitting pots and pans trying to get rid of you. That's how you
They
get.
try to get rid of me in way more places than just campsites, let me tell you.
That's how they get rid of bears in the campsites. You have to make a shit ton of noise.
No,
But
doesn't scare me.
because we had to put soundtracks to our films, I was stuck with a bunch of the recommendations of the professors saying, "Oh, there's copyright-free music that you can get from all these sites, and it's there's endless things that you can put in." And I was like, yeah, but these sound kind of generic and kind of weird, and they don't have a lot of attachment to my art that I've made. So just born out of necessity, I was like, well, I can come up with something to set the mood. And some of the films that we made were silent, so the music guided the thought process of the actor, and that was really cool to me because I could like get inside the actor's head and just, I mean, whether it was done after the fact in post-production or if I had an idea of how, you know, if it was something that was sneaky or something that was, you know, an act of bravery or whatever. I mean, I really enjoyed just matching music to film. And it's kind of a practice that I've gotten into more seriously in these last couple years, trying to hone in on being a filmmaker, an actor, and musician. And I don't know, it's not necessarily that those things compete. I think in a lot of ways, they all kind of mesh to make me me. And sword fighting came into that. That's, I mean, I wanted to be a swashbuckling guy in the movies, right? And I loved action movies. I mean, the way that the music that was paired with, you know, like Rocky, you mentioned, right? When I saw Rocky 4 and he was working out, do you remember when he was in Russia?
Oh yeah,
And
dude.
he had nothing but
Doing
like
the-
cinder blocks and logs.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
I felt after
Running
that
in the
was done,
snow.
I think Survivor.
When he outran the KGB.
I felt like I could run through a wall after that,
Yep.
after watching that movie.
Yep.
I loved the matching of, I mean, Hans Zimmer, John Williams. I grew up loving Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, and just as a guy with an imagination, as a lot of fencers are. Let's kind of put that in the same bucket. It's a bit of a unorthodox choice of a physical activity in a sport, and it's battle, right? So that excited me. I was competitive growing up, and I played a lot of sports, but fencing was the one that won me over. And I don't know, rhythm, man. That fencing is rhythm, right? And my style as a saberist, it all related to, I don't know. I think my fundamentals, as clean as they were, I would always kind of stab myself in the foot with being a little bit too flashy and trying to make the touch look a little cooler than it needed to be, rather than just getting the point to get the point. And I thus did not compete in college and try to up my game. We were recruiting internationally from Notre Dame, and the youngsters, like, who were 7 inches taller than me and way more explosive, just, you know, they were like, okay, we're taking over for good reason. The
You were not bad before then,
No.
though. You, Colin. So we have totally downplayed Colin's competitive career up until this point in the episode. So Colin got to the point where he was actually able to even travel to Senior World Cup at least one time,
it was one time.
which is more than most fencers get to ever do, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So there was a period of time where you were performing quite well at the national level.
Mhm.
And
And it was a bit younger, so it was my
Yeah.
junior year that I hit a stride, and it timed out well because I probably would have not attended Notre Dame if I had this moment. And I think went to a junior World Cup as well. But the senior team with Daryl, with Jeff and Will Spear, and Kamar Skeet was another younger guy who was along with me, and Pete
Lord
Souders and some of the other like top saberists were really great to talk to. And I remember getting to fence some Olympians, and that was such a memorable thing because I was like this little kind of spry, just kind of skinny dude, but I was fast. So I upset a couple people in pools, and I lost 15-14 to a Polish guy before getting to a Romanian. And I mean, one way or the other, the World Cup experience is something that I was a bit jealous of. I had teammates who got to do them regularly, and I wanted to be a world traveler and do that. And that's something that's so cool about this sport, is that it's so global, and the minds that you get to interact with, you know, whether they're just visiting from, another country to New York, or you're going to Hungary, you can make friends from all over the world. So I don't know, it teaches you a lot about what the sport is beyond just getting on the strip together and fencing, but meeting pretty awesome people. So I don't know, I loved Notre Dame for that reason. It was so culturally diverse. We met a lot of different people.
The team was culturally
The
diverse. The
fencing team
university is
was
like
culturally
90% Irish Catholic American kids.
True.
But our fencing team, and it remains, the Notre Dame fencing team remains to be the most diverse team on campus, just across every, aspect of that word. And there are plenty of international people of color, different religions, like all this stuff. And it's really funny because it's a pretty homogenous university. So I do love that about the Notre Dame fencing team.
Yeah.
Good call out.
Well, I still keep in touch with a lot of them. A lot of them moved to New York. So it's
we
fun.
got a good group.
We do. We have a great crew. And now in my relationship to still fencing, I've been a coach. And
Where at?
Sheridan.
Tell us about it.
Sheridan Fencing Academy is
Upper East Side,
run by Jason Sheridan on the Upper East Side. They've got 3 locations.
Oh.
They've got one in Queens, and they've got one in Westchester. And they've got actually a new club in Westchester that they've recently developed. And they're a saber-only club, similar to the club that I trained at when I was in D.C. And my coach, Dariush Gilman, was really good friends with Jason Sheridan. And whenever it was too chaotic for, coach to try to be at 8 different strips at once trying to coach, Jason would come over and help out. And one of my old Capital teammates, Sal Santani, is a coach there, as well as a professor at St. John's. So he's, still, it's great to see fencers that you were like little with, stay with the sport. But it was really fun to give back to a whole new set of young minds of people that are like picking what they want to do for a sport. If they are athletic, and trying to tell them like, well, this is your style, or maybe it's not. I enjoyed giving lessons and teaching at the club rather than going to a bunch of schools. It was a time for me to like tune up the kids for college, some of the high school kids, give private lessons to some of the younger kids, and then teach some adult classes too. But one way or the other, I still love the sport and I love to interact and be around the people who do it, but my time constraints kind of limit my ability to keep coaching right now. So that's just the way that is. And it's something
it's adulthood, man.
I miss it. I do miss being involved, and it's great exercise, right? But my competing days, I remember very nicely at Notre Dame and right before, and now it's fun to think about it more in, how does my athletic career relate to what I do with music, with acting? So right now, I mean,
it's almost like somebody sent you these questions beforehand, man.
Almost, yeah. But right now, I'm acting and doing music classes, and those are at night after my day job, and it takes up basically all my work week. Yeah.
Sounds like fencing and work, yeah.
Yeah.
So what did you learn from your time fencing that you're now applying to your new pursuits and career and the arts? You already drew some parallels with fencing being rhythm and your attachment to rhythm and melodies. And I'm just wondering if you can draw any more concrete or abstract even parallels between the two experiences, because one of the things we constantly talk about is the push and pull between this athletic experience and whatever else you do in your life.
Right.
Arts, business, math, science, whatever it is, but just how is what you learned in your time committing yourself to this sport impacting what you do now?
Having an attack plan, setting up what you're about to do in a setting of uncertainty. Fencing, all three weapons are really, really fast, right?
Thank you.
Different.
Thanks.
With different.
I want all
different-
right-of-way fencers to hear that he said all three weapons,
You have to be super quick for every single one, but
including which one? Including epee?
yeah. Well, I mean, how are you gonna slow-mo, try to stab the guy? No, you gotta try to skewer him.
I've never felt
Fast.
so seen right now, Steven.
Thanks, Colin. Really needed this.
You're invited back to every episode.
Hey.
Thanks for that.
There's been a surge of epee hate on the internet lately.
Really?
I don't get it.
It's really it's good. It's good memes,
that
man.
right?
Hate to say it. They're quality
Well, I did have a
epee hating
rivalry with
memes out
epee
there.
back at my first college because we would have handball comp. We only had saber and epee at this club, DCFC, where I first started, and we would have these like totally brutal. Sometimes people would elbow each other.
You ever elbow Isaac
competitive.
Shalansky?
Oh sure. Yeah.
Did
He was
elbow
another
back?
talented handball player, and I was like,
He's
the
just a
sniper.
good athlete altogether.
He's a great athlete,
He's
yeah.
a cool guy.
And
Business idea. Forget taser fencing. Battle handball.
I'm in.
All right.
it's a great
Let's talk
sport
later.
to
Yeah.
talk to do with fencing. Anyways, all three weapons are very fast, and picking saber, right, has to do with the way your preparation begins and whether or not you have a plan and you want to take parry and you have the context of what the bout was like, last 5 touches, or if it's 0-0 and you start fresh and you don't know what, the canvas is like, I will always know from fencing that your ability to just adapt to things being thrown at you, no matter, and taking accountability for your mistake in just a split second. So I love how fast all things change, right? And with the arts, my discipline to work at my kind of fine motor skills and try to engage a sense of focus, like, okay, I'm going either to work on these songs or these scales, and I'm going to get all the way through them, no matter what happens, right? Whereas on the fencing strip, I would always think, okay, don't fall short. If I fall short, I might have a temper tantrum and break my saber over my knee. But pushing someone all the way to the end of the strip, right? Or knowing that with this kind of opponent, maybe choose a different preparation, right? Those things just interchange from bout to bout to bout. And with music, there's no one way to write a song. There's no rules, right? In fencing, there's a lot of right-of-way rules. Some, in epee, no. But there is this language. And I don't know, fencing taught me how to understand the way that I moved and just kind of understanding my body and my vessel and focusing on carrying through my plan and having an attack plan. So that is actually hugely relevant in the way that I am learning how to act and learning how to play music is committing 100%. I mean, my coach would say, no holding back, like he would just, coaches, sometimes all they're able to do is just try to get a message across and yell at you. But sometimes it's, well, you're not able to move that fencer from across the room, but you can remind him of what your intention is. And, oh, wait, yeah, let's do that. And with acting and music, letting myself go and doing what I have, but not being loosey goose about it, but trying to just sharpen my focus. I think that those two things really kind of tie together with fencing, with music, and all that I'm doing now. So I'm going to take that lesson with me until the end of time.
Thanks. It's good.
I like it. There's a lot of good parallels, a lot of things that I didn't expect. Like I like like you touched a little bit on like the improvisational aspect of it, right? Being able to, and I didn't think about, I have very limited jazz musical experience.
Mm-hmm.
And the improvisation aspect of it was something that always like fascinated me, right?
Right.
But I didn't realize like you're doing something similar.
It's just like fencing.
It's all just fencing, man. It's all just fencing.
But it's true. I mean, and it's something that Ben Atkins brought up in an earlier episode, one of the earliest episodes. Just one of the things that fencing teaches people, if you get to pursue it long enough and you're able to really either do it with intention or take away lessons from your experience, it teaches you how to jump out of a plane with no parachute on and figure it out. And you create a plan in the moment, then you execute on that plan, then you adjust your plan, because you start the bout with sometimes zero knowledge of your opponent, but you still have to start the bout.
Honestly,
you still have to go and
way.
attack and get hit, or attack and hit, and the conversation has to start regardless. So I love that.
Whether or not you did homework on.
Yeah.
on
Sometimes you know your opponent very well.
Right.
Steven and I fence each other all the time. He knows all my tricks. I know he knows all my tricks. But sometimes, Steven or I or you, well, you have to fence someone you've never seen before in your life. And there's still an entire conversation that has to happen. And
Right.
that's life. That's the way that you approach your business or your music or any transaction or anything that has to happen for the first time, the second time, the third time. And your sport experience, specifically through fencing, teaches you to iterate quickly, to learn from the losses, to be able to make those analyses in the split second moment that you talked about. I love your analysis, dude.
Thanks.
It's great.
I will endlessly just work on this kind of effortless, I want my expression to be effortless through being me, right? And if you have that blank slate with someone that you've never seen before, what are you going to do? Be you, right?
Yeah.
Don't change the way because, you may be uncertain or nervous. Do what makes you good at why you picked the thing. And then you can see what's going on, right? But a huge obstacle going from just gigging and trying to get my comfortability in playing 2 to 3 hour music sets is trying to hold a song and do it justice all the way through. And that focus
That's intense.
it's
really, really
tricky.
intense.
And I learned that through messing up a lot and changing songs, not to my wish, but just out of the chaos of not really being able to hang in there. And you reflect on that after the
It's like
performance.
a
you're
counter parry battle, and you tense up and you lose it.
right?
You have to stay relaxed and just finish the action.
Yeah,
Right?
trust your muscle memory.
Yeah.
So through the repetitions, and there's a lot of machine-like moves that fencers are doing. I mean, your hips are kind of adjusted in a strange way because of
Look
You-
at
you
him. He's
fencing
in
all
on guard
these
right
years.
now.
Yeah.
yeah.
Nice.
The
Now it's just lefty.
the music. I mean, you have to go to a beat, right? Your rhythm and holding that the whole time is so important, and it's what makes the human brain realize, oh, this is a groove. Otherwise, and you're just kind of playing how if you're a little too nonchalant about it, you can totally botch a great song that people would love if you just had the rhythm. And it's very, I mean, humans are not machines. You're able to make mistakes, and I had my fencing style saber wise as I was wickedly fast, and I would use a lot of blade work, and when they shortened the en-garde line for that momentary time, I would start to fly and flunge a lot. And that was a lot of fun. And then they put it back and then I had to adjust. But, the sport adapts and you adapt with it. And it's going to be in my mind as an athlete. The way that I live is just to kind of excrete this, I'm developing my body, I'm developing my mind, and how can I make this effortless? It's a lifelong pursuit. I'm never going to really have the answer, right? But it's part of the fun to challenge yourself. And that's why it's hard to get bored when you unlock a little bit of an ability to improvise or create something that's yours. It's a hell of a lot of fun.
That's true. You got anything for us, Steven?
I love it, man. I really do love it. I think you've got a really nice perspective on creating things, right? I think all of this stems back to your ability to be creative and execute on a vision, right? Even if you don't have that vision, it's this effortless execution in a direction, right? Or responding to things. Like, I think you've learned so many lessons through your art, through your fencing, which hell is art, right? And I think you've done an excellent job of sharing that with us in the audience.
I'm glad. Thank you.
Yeah. I've had a lot of fun just like hearing the theory of it all. Really, like it's tickling the brain, man. It tickles the brain.
It's a maneuver in my life that continuously excites me because you've got your savant musicians that start when they're really tiny and they go to the competitions and they
got the
wickedly
sixth sense,
can move through things. I am not a classically trained pianist in the way that I can read music. I hear it.
Right.
And I'm good at transferring my knowledge of a song that I love and being able to play the licks that give it its foundation and memory. And I can trust that because whether it's my fingers or with my voice or just the sound of it, right? It gives me a lot of life. And if I always convince myself that people are going to appreciate it if they see that I'm having fun.
Yeah.
Right.
There's definitely some truth to that, right? Like people respond to what you're giving them.
Look at Elisa Liu, the Olympic champion in ice skating.
I saw a girl walking down the street the other day with the hairstyle. Like this
That's
girl, this girl was just authentically herself.
And not only that, she just had so much fun winning.
Yeah.
Did you watch this video?
No.
That's my recommendation to you tonight. Watch Elisa Liu's Olympic gold medal winning performance in ice skating, figure skating, actually, not just ice skating. And it was one of the most inspiring, beautiful, competitive showcases ever because she was just having so much fun.
You could
She
tell.
fully self-actualized in that moment, and it led to a gold. And I don't think that mattered to her at all. I think obviously it did. That's BS, but she was just having so much fun that I think going out there in that type of pressure cooker situation and just being able to have a blast and execute at a high level meant more to her than the gold. And I think the gold is just a byproduct of that. And it was so obvious that she was going to win as it was happening. It was almost inevitable.
Well, just
because she was having fun.
In human culture, music, athletics, you can get in this flow state and you just, takes a little bit of development through your childhood years to, understand the sport and kind of understand your body and figure out
what you're doing.
It takes to get a little bit of success. And then when you do, it's like really, you don't even have to smile and be obvious about it, but you can just kind of tell that they're in their element. And then, it shows, a bit of a path, and it's a way to cope with your emotions, whether they're bad or good. So I think it's a bit of a hack that I've been able to kind of go through my day-to-day life as an adult now, that I know what kind of song to play for a scenario that I know it can shift my mood. Does that ever occur to you guys whenever you pick songs, or is it just something that kind of hits you in the moment? Or
I don't know. Music so I guess my question is, do you think that you're able to get into that flow state quicker by playing a certain type of song?
It's such a tricky question to answer because for example, I go to singing class once a week,
Mhm.
and I have to perform with an accompanist, and there's about 8 students in the class, and everyone comes with a song, and I opt to accompany myself because I want to understand how I go about it, whether I pick it on the piano or on the guitar, and just be able to juggle, my own music. And sometimes I sang Phantom of the Opera a couple weeks ago, and I didn't dare mess with that piano arrangement.
Right.
I just wanted to sing, right? But a lot of times I don't know what I'm picking that day. And I have to, think about it a little bit, but it just kind of comes to me. And whenever I come up with a set list for a performance, sometimes I have a very ordered sheet that just shows me what's going up next. But you look at your audience and you see that maybe someone's wearing cowboy boots and you pull out a Willie Nelson song, or you read the room, right? And you want to cater to what you like, but also to what the people that are listening to you like. And when I try to train my voice, I try to pick songs that invigorate me, and I know that I can do a good job of it because I'm going to enjoy it in that time, and that tends to go along with me more than trying to fight something that's really difficult to do. And sometimes my voice is in a different state from day to day. You lose your voice sometimes, and you got to pick a little bit of a deeper range. But yeah, it's a hard question to answer because a lot of it just comes out of a fleeting moment.
Yeah.
Jazz songs, I grew up listening to show tunes with my sisters and my parents, and the way that we watched movies, that has a huge impact on the way that we consume, what books to read, what, TV shows to watch. And I think my parents really helped kind of set me in the right direction for picking music that made you think, right? And well, not that you have to think, but enriches you, and having a deep roster of different genres to be able to pick from, so that you're not just hitting the radio all the time that tend to repeat songs, right? So I as someone that writes songs, I don't know what kind of genre. I mean, I'm still developing my sound, right? Direct elimination is part of that process. I wrote a little Western tune to accompany. I had Big Iron. The Marty Robbins is an iconic country artist, kind of a gunslinger vibe, and just out of the interest of keeping the short film copyright infringement free, and not dealing with any of that complication, I just was interested in writing my own song.
What short film?
This is a short film called The Sharp Way Out.
Tell us about it.
And I did this in November 2025. So, how many months ago is that? 4 or 5 months ago? And
6.
Yeah, half a year. Wow.
Yeah, right.
But as someone that is training to
Don't say that.
Work in front of the camera in the film business, or just, be interested in acting, because I think it's been an interest of mine ever since I was small. I need evidence on camera of me acting. So I needed to create a reel. And I've been submitting auditions since I arrived in New York, and found representation to help find things for me. But unless you get hired, you're not going to be able to show anything unless you do it yourself. Right. So I needed to create this day of acting for myself, and came out of my own pocket. I hired a DP, grips, gaffers, lighting guy, and had some volunteer actors come. One was my scene partner from my scene study class, and we did a scene from the play called The Pillow Man, which is a play that is in a totalitarian society. Two brothers are thrown in a jail cell because the mentally disabled little brother carried out the acts of me, the older brother, who is a writer of children's stories, but they're really awful, graphic murder stories of a lot of times a kid is killed. And this little brother of mine carried those out when I told them to him as a bedtime story. So we were about to be executed. And because of that scene and we did the scene in class, but as an opportunity to create a evidence of my first acting chops, I decided to rent a prison. I can't just rent one cell. I have to get the whole building. And
how much does that cost?
Let's see.
To rent a
prison? It was
prison.
$2,000 for, the reason that I got connected to this prison in the first place was I work in the construction crew that builds sets for Netflix films, Amazon TV shows. Right now I'm working on an Apple project. And we build sets all over the city in New Jersey. This particular one, I was in New Jersey, and there was one of the locations guys who knew the stage manager at Broadway Stages in Staten Island. And they have this correctional facility that ceased being a correctional facility in 2012 and was bought up by Broadway Stages to just make movies.
Prison-based.
I think Orange is the New Black was there. Ocean's 8, the woman Oceans, and The Americans, and a bunch of things in Staten Island have been done there. And I got a deal to be there for 12 hours. And I had my scene partner on board to do the scene from The Pillow Man. We knocked that out, and it's a very dramatic scene where I'm really, really mad at him. But like, still, he's my brother. I love him. Like, it's this kind of, juggle of like, well, we're doomed, but what's going to happen? Honestly. And then I wanted to make as much art as I could for the amount of time that I had the prison. So I had to kind of invent these scenarios and write scenes and shorts of my own to deck out the day. One of them was an adaptation that I wrote from a play called Copenhagen. It's about Heisenberg and his work in the World War II area of the Manhattan Project and the nuclear, creation and the bomb and all that good stuff. And we did a hallway walk down scene because it's an abandoned prison, right? So
yeah.
The idea is that you're in this very remote, top secret place. And I made it because Heisenberg was a younger guy, and his overseer sees me coming out of a office that I'm not necessarily supposed to be in, and I'm a little too curious. And so there's a little bit of a prickly, clearance debate going on. And I was in a lab coat. And so those two scenes helped get me on the map with just dramatic acting chops.
Mm-hmm.
And these are plays. So I kind of made them into a film adaptation. And I really enjoyed doing it. I actually had to reshoot the Copenhagen thing because my cameraman, unfortunately, had a malfunction with his memory chip and lost the footage. But from that day, we were able to save the last part, which was this short film that I wrote and included our old teammates and friends, Thomas Murray, Bobby Wong, and Thomas's high school best friend, Max, who has become a good friend of mine as well. And we all kind of put on some costumes to make it look as though we were going to be doing this prison escape. We had a row of 5 cells, and we were in. I got some orange jumpsuits, and Max, whose character is Officer Costa, receives a phone call, tells everybody, it's just us three, right? We're the last ones in this prison, and we're high profile, highly wanted assassins, right? And the higher ups who call Max say, hey, it's time to blow up the building and everything in it, but you're allowed to give them an opportunity for one person to escape. So Max sees swords in the corner of a room, which I had to figure out a way to like include the battle aspect of this. And he opens the cell doors, kind of like the Mission Impossible, hack of the doors swinging open, and we have to fight our way out. And I call it the sharp way out. So it's kind of a chaotic, in a lot of movies that you see with fencing, like The Princess Bride, for example, really beautiful scene of Inigo Montoya and the Dread Pirate Roberts, or whoever, how he goes at that point of the movie. The choreography is something that is totally something I respect about action and swordplay in movies, because we didn't have time to choreograph squat, and so it's just very kind of smash and dash, not a lot of direction. And there's actually an interesting moment. Thomas pushes Bobby into a room and like kind of shoves him down, closed the door, but he accidentally kept the top of the saber in the doorway, and the doorway slices the top, which is the curl that keeps it from being lethal.
Yeah.
Right? He cut off the tip of the sword, but not enough to make it obvious. And I fenced Thomas with a sharp
Saber.
not sport legal saber. We used sabers in the Sharp Way Out.
Yeah.
Kind of the cavalry
Obviously,
style.
had to.
Had to. And it was a lot of fun to make. We actually used a part of the prison that was not part of the contract, but I was supposed to have Building 17, and there are all these hallways, and we were just exploring. It's a huge building. And we find the kitchen, and there's a bunch of stuff in the kitchen, and I have fun like chucking it at Thomas, and there's a final showdown that's kind of a style of, I wanted to have this good, the bad, and the ugly bit where we're all like looking at each other and having a standoff. And I threw in some elements to tie the whole time crunch and sense of urgency and stress with some burning wicks and an explosion. And I think it came out pretty nicely. But it was really a top of the dome idea that I just wanted to do to round out my investment in making an acting reel, so that I could get on the map and be more marketable, to be hired, whether for print, commercial, this and that. And it's been a huge joy to my life to make movies and scenes, and I'm going to be constantly pursuing it. It's a lot of fun. It's something I learned that I enjoy a lot.
I'm passing to you, man. I'm trying to be quieter on these episodes. This is the portion of Direct Elimination. This sequence of episodes is just like, Ari, let Steven talk more.
Wow. Thanks, man. Well, I looked at you.
Steven's saying nothing.
Steven's passing it to you. I thought we had this little alternate.
All right, I'll take it.
Thought we had a fair little alternating thing.
Last question. Are there any upcoming projects that you're working on, and will you continue to tie fencing into your work?
Oh, yeah.
To both?
I think so.
Right.
I am currently implementing another one of my originals into a film that my roommate of 2 years ago and I made together, where I was the primary actor, and I wrote a song that is in that as well. And I have another actor friend that I'm writing something for us to kind of work together, because we've self-taped a lot and we just have a dynamic. But coming up with your own film ideas, I've learned, is so fun. And if you can get good at it, you don't have to have, a big shot, expensive camera and all the gear. You could just, if you have the language and the skills, you can really pull, some really cool stories off. And I'm having a blast crafting it. It takes a while, right? Like I said, this happened in November, and I'm just kind of coming out with it now. But it took a lot of time because you don't want to churn it out half baked, right? So I have a lot of respect for the time that it takes an editor to do what they do, and I am kind of being a jack of all trades and doing it all myself to try to save a little money. But
no, I mean, look, you don't need to have nice equipment to score good touches, but if you want
if you want nice equipment, shop PreerUSA.com, link in bio. Get yourself some gloves, some masks. You can even get things to repair your blades with, make the tips nice and buttery, and really give yourself the edge to compete well and get the edge.
Yeah, while we're on it,
you can get the edge over your competition. Listen, fencing is a game of milliseconds. It is a game of millimeters. And you can't afford to be slipping inches in this game, all right? So make sure your shoes are nice and grippy with Edge Advanced Grip System. Use code ALL-IN for 10% off at checkout. Also, shop PreerUSA.com. Again, you can get things to repair your blades. You can get brand new blades.
Yeah.
If you're at the NAC this weekend, you could stop by the Preer USA booth and say hi to Ari.
We're going to have to cut that. The NAC already happened. But anyways, back to your point. You don't need to have nice equipment to score good touches. No. As you said, you just need to know how to fence. So
let me out of the cage, us.
Yeah.
And with that, we enter our final segment. It's called Single Light Answers. One light answers, excuse me. As a cyberist, you know all about scoring one light touches. Mm-hmm. You need to be decisive, fast. You need to commit, and you just need to be there before your opponent. So with that, we're going to ask you some questions. And you just have to commit, be decisive, and have that fast reaction time. Steven, take us away.
Here we go.
2 favorite fencers all time.
Keith Smart. Aaron Zalagi.
I like it. Favorite city you've ever been to for fencing?
Madrid.
I would say the same if I went to Madrid, probably.
What was in your equipment bag that probably shouldn't have been?
Probably a banana peel or two.
That's hilarious and disgusting.
The pancakes that he stole.
Yeah, the pancakes.
Did you guys ever have those goo shots?
Yeah.
We would have, every month we'd have like who got the most bouts, who fenced the most bouts. And I was a fencer that took a lot of vacations, so I didn't win a lot. But when I did win, you get a 50-pack of those chocolate goos.
That's yummy.
And I would tear through those things, even as a snack. Because they're supposed to be a performance.
They're so yummy.
They're so good.
They're just like, it's dessert.
Yeah.
Who was the hardest bout you ever fenced?
Probably my teammate, Alessandro Contreras.
I like that take. I like it. He had the really jumpy preparations.
We all kind of did at Capitol.
Yeah,
I think
he jumped higher than you though.
He did. Yeah, he would take it to new heights. Yeah.
Yeah, no pun intended.
Yeah.
All right.
Dream acting role.
Man. I'd say something super character immersive and has nothing to look like me. So maybe some peddling musician that, gets thrown out and, I'm homeless or something. I don't know, like something that has no relation to my life.
I like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Aragorn.
Oh, that's
I like that.
That's a good role. Is any fencing scene from a movie that you wish you could re-choreograph because it was
Choreograph because it was terrible.
Yeah.
Oh my God, so many.
Well, what's the one that you wish that you could have the biggest impact on? One that like just ruined the movie for you. You would have loved it, or a TV show. You would have loved it if it wasn't for that terrible fencing scene.
Well, any of the new Star Wars.
Yeah. That was where my mind went
they're
too.
all treacherous.
Yeah.
So I mean, no, that's a huge general statement, and I was a huge Star Wars fan growing up. I was a nerd about it.
All of us.
However, I think the action and
No, it was dumb. It was like
the detail in practicing.
That's the new ones, and then they would have one where they just have the tension. It's like, but there was no fencing. There was no fighting.
No, there was nothing. I mean, did you see Hayden Christensen and
the training?
Those were awesome.
They practiced like hours and hours.
Even
a day.
the Ewan McGregor Darth Maul scene from Phantom Menace was awesome. Anyways, Steven, what you got?
All right. You, Matt, Tomas, Bobby. 2-on-2 handball. Actually, no. Add in Ari Simmons and Nick Itkin. 3-on-3 Olympic handball. Who are you taking in that team?
Ari Simmons, Nick Itkin, Thomas,
Bobby. Matt. Tasic.
Okay.
Today. Not in their prime.
I'm taking Matt. I'm taking
You can only take
Nick
two.
and Ari.
No, that's
you're on a
4v2.
team.
Oh, wait,
of three.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't be a
I'll
kid.
take the size and the length. So Nikita and Ari.
I think he's kissing ass.
I like the logic. If he's not kissing ass,
well, you are the physically larger of all these people.
I'm a pretty large dude. For a guy who's not huge, I'm a large dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a weird place to be. You know,
the best of both worlds,
physically speaking. Okay, my question to you is, what's your favorite piece of pure fencing equipment?
I was just admiring the glove.
It's a great answer.
Great answer.
I had some really crummy gloves as a youth fencer. The ones that would like knot up. And you could like take them off.
Yeah.
And I just remember like I always was the least stinky of the siblings in my family because my sisters are ballet dancers, right? So I was always taking pride.
Ballet dancers are stinky?
Oh my God. Have you ever been in a ballet studio before?
No.
It smells like feet that's like cocooned in sweat.
Oof.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, fencing, you have a lot of equipment on and you're
feet aren't
pouring sweat.
Cocooned.
But yeah, it's a totally different beast of a smell. I'm telling you, right?
All right. I believe
but
you.
I always was the proud, like, oh, you know, my fencing gear doesn't hold a candle to how bad your ballet stuff stinks. But the glove, for some reason, I don't know, maybe it was like the fabric, but it just smelled funky.
Just holds it.
It was not as bad as my fencing pants, which is, you know, in the, you know, not so wonderful regions of smell, right?
Yeah.
That's a good point.
But it was my glove.
Why do the
smelled
gloves
the
smell
worst.
so bad?
Yeah, just because they do. Because they touch the grip all the time.
What does that have to do with it?
I don't know, dude. It was off the top of my head. I'm not a scientist.
Well,
I'm just a podcaster who fences
but
sometimes.
That glove, the leather's nice. It's buttery. As you said, Prieur has that factor to it.
Yeah, we got some good ads about that glove. Anyways.
Thank you for making the time to come on in. There was a lot that had to go into this episode to make it happen. And you know, we didn't really know where we were going to go with this, but I think as you touched on with your experiences in art and your experiences in fencing, we went on the journey, right? We went in a direction, we improvised at a moment's notice, and I loved hearing your parallels between sport and in art. I loved hearing about your mentality behind the things you're doing. I love hearing that you're just sort of like taking your passions and running with them, man. Like that's such a cool way to live life. And I'm incredibly happy for you. I'm incredibly happy that we were able to have this time together as a crew. And thank you for coming on the show, Colin. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say thank you for the best theme song in
Podcast existence.
In podcast history. The single greatest theme song, Colin Campbell. Before Ari goes into his little spiel, if the people want to find you, check out your acting chops, check out your music chops, where can they find you?
I exist on Instagram and TikTok. I go by the handle Campbell Tunes for music, and I have more evidence of my art on my personal Instagram, colin.b.campbell, and eventually YouTube. I'm trying to get into some film festivals with these shorts. It's an exciting time that I'm going to be kind of spreading my wings a little bit more as my confidence builds. And like I said, thank you for allowing me to be implemented into your podcast. The song was really fun to make, and I am, part of what it means to like just take you guys created this podcast. I wanted to see it do incredible, and you talked about it for all these years, and you're also, both of you are taking your passion and running with it and doing a service to this incredible sport, which I know that a lot of people in the world really want, and they're getting it because you guys are doing this. So thanks for including me.
Sweet, bro. We're really excited. I mean, you're the first person we reached out to for a song, and you were also the first person to say yes. And so we didn't have to reach out to more people. It was awesome. It worked out perfectly, and coming here and getting a bit of your story was awesome. Thank you for joining. And in our description, the listeners or watchers, depending on the listeners or viewers, depending on how you're consuming this podcast, in our description, you'll be able to not only find where you can connect with Colin, but you can actually find the links to the short films that he was talking about. And it was really cool that you got to show us beforehand. We've already seen them. They're awesome. And you get to not only see, but also hear some of Colin's artistry outside of the Direct Elimination theme song. But it was just pretty great. And if you stick through past the final closing ads that we always do, we will be blasting the entire Direct Elimination theme song, fully mastered, for you all to enjoy. It's just such a pleasant thing to listen to, and hopefully at some point you'll be able to jam along on Spotify, YouTube, and wherever else songs are streamed nowadays.
Without a doubt.
Thank you, man. It's good. It's a joy to be your friend, and thanks for coming on and just sharing some of that with us and now the world.
Wouldn't miss it. This is a state of the art, professional. No notes. This is really. I'm really appreciative. This
let's
is
go.
A moment that I'm going to remember, and the way that
you don't even have to. You can just rewatch it if you forget.
Nah, you're right. Yeah. The coming. I mean, New York City and living here. You guys being here, like it's really great. To anybody listening, when you're an adult and you're out of school and all the fun may seem like it's behind you, no, it's not.
You can find it.
You can find it.
You can create it.
You can create it. You can create it with people that are your pals. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's a joy to, stink at it for a while and then see yourself get better through the grind.
That's how it goes. Thanks for coming to Direct Elimination, dude.
Can we get an Irish on 3?
Yeah. Irish on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Irish!
This is the first live performance of Direct Elimination recorded. 1, 2, 3. sensation, gliding through actions in soft syncopation. Oh, yeah, it's direct elimination. World-class minds, that's you guys, engage in razor-edge conversation, locked in on the path of pure determination. There's a little window of light slicing through your thoughts in the sky. Start your preparation. Ooh, it's direct elimination. Ooh, it's direct elimination. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me, guys. Yeah. Funky, funky.